Okay, hi everyone, this is Koinzell here. So doing the merchantry guide, as that's the second one in the post after the accessory progression guide. So for merchantry itself, right, this is the I believe you guys have it now as a trading post when you have a node manager there. So for merchantry, right, you need your base to be level 6, command center to be level 6, and a level 1 trading post. So for merchantry itself is actually quite a complex system. There's a lot of content to cover. So today I'll just do a simple guide on what to know and what to prepare before you start your merchantry. I'll probably have to do a separate video on the routes because depending on whether you have 1 horse, 2 horses, or 3 horses, the routes that you can take and optimize is very different, and it's also very different based on your level as well, because your level determines the amount of food that you have that you can do each day for the merchantry. So first off, right, let's go into the basics, which would be the cart. Okay, so when you start the game, or rather when you start the merchantry, the first thing you need to do is to do this create this level 1 cart. This is the cost for the level 1 card. 3k of this stone, 7.5k of this wood, and 2.5k of this cotton. So food is 30,000, silver 5 million, time taken is 3 hours. So when your patch is released, right, make sure you have enough this stamina potion so that you can use it and immediately complete the card, so that you can immediately do the merchantry. Okay, so basics of the level 1 card is very simple. The amount of food that you can carry is this amount, 15, almost 15.7k. It's just 2,500 weight in total, but that is sufficient because anyway, the amount that you can trade initially for each type of goods, right, is only 99 packs, so to speak. And the consumption rate is only 1.4. So this is what you can craft at level 1. At level 2, at level 1 of your merchantry level, you can craft this. At level 10, you can craft the second level of the level 2 card. This is the amount of resources required. You can see that significantly a lot more, as well as the time. The time taken is a lot more as well. Food is not more by a lot, 30k versus 40k. Then silver is double. So the food that you get, right, is an additional about 5k, whereas the rest of it actually remains the same. But the movement speed is higher, so that helps a lot as well. This next card at level 3 only requires level 15 actually. So some people actually skip this and go straight for this, which is fine, provided that you have stocked up enough items to sell such that you can jump directly to the third card. So third card has 4k food, or rather 3.2k food more, and 500 more weight. So that's very helpful. But if you look at the resources, right, it's a lot more. You need 5 different kinds, and it's up to 5 digit already. Food is okay, 50k food, and 2 days to build the card. So you need a lot more stamina to complete this. So what does this mean? This means that the day before you get merchantry, make sure you always have sufficient food, sufficient stamina, so at the moment it is out, you can craft it. Then plan accordingly whether you want to craft the second level card or the third level card. Personally, if you have enough of the items to sell and make it such that your level ups much faster, right, it's actually good enough to go for the third card and skip the second level, provided you have the items. I'll go through what are the items that I'm talking about. The next card, which I don't think you guys will get it in the same patch that you get merchantry. Probably this will be a later patch sometime in the future, because that is what happened to us. Our level 4 and level 5 card is sometime in the future. In fact, level 5 card probably fairly recent, I think about 2 months ago for us. Yeah. Level 4 card was quite long. So, although you guys won't get it, I can just briefly go through level 4 card. Basically, the biggest difference is that the weight is doubled. The amount of food you can carry is also doubled. The most important factor is this. You will notice that these cards, right, they only have these two pages, whereas this has this third page, where effectively you can buy and sell 4 times of your previous amount. And for the special items, right, the golden items for golden trading goods is 2x, and the food is also 2x. But the food consumption is also much higher, 2.5 times versus 1.4. What this means is that as you travel across the continent to do your trading, your food gets consumed much faster. And there's actually 2 horses that can be attached to the level 4 cart. Level 5 cart, double the food again, double the weight again, 3 horses, permanently in a boosted mode, speed boost mode, because the rest of the cards you have to manually do the speed boost. But the consumption is double, it's actually 5 times compared to that 2.5. But of course, all these are double as well. So not to worry, you will get these updates in future. First this, then this. So this is the 1 horse, 2 horse, 3 horses. So if you see my setup now, it's already 3 horses. And you will notice that there is this buff figure here. What this means, right, is that horses actually boost the amount of food that you can carry. I am using tier 8 horses for my merchantry, which is the maximum highest tier you can get, which is why the boost is so high. It's about 20k food. If I will go to here, yeah. So you can see, right, from the horses, right, tier 8 horse gives you 7%, and it's 1% less per tier down. So tier 7 is 6%, tier 6 would be 5%, yep, and then tier 5 would be 4%. So it's best to prepare. In other words, when merchantry first releases in your server, it's best to have one highest tier horse standby ready to boost the amount of food that you can carry. So, okay, wait, let me go back to the entrance page here. So for this entrance page here, you will see here on the left are the items that you can purchase and sell. So for me right now, with the 3 horses, the most I can sell is 800 in one transaction. When you guys start, you will only be 99 in one transaction. So the 800, right, you'll see that the maximum I try to keep myself to is close to the double the amount, which is 1600. The reason why, right, is because there's so many different kind of trading goods. You should always maintain just double of whatever you can buy or sell. So meaning that when you are at the 1 horse tier, with only 1 horse, you should only keep up to 198, so that you ensure that you have a lot more space in your cart to buy the golden trading goods, and then do the necessary trading. You always need to make sure that you are at 98% weight. It's fine to start without, but when you leave any town, you should be at 98% at least. Okay, so let's look here. This is the amount of food, maximum amount of food that you can use every day in the merchantry. So this is 106k, which is because I have level 100. But if you just started the merchantry, you'll be at level 1. The amount of food that you have is much lesser than this. And this is the one that I was talking about at the cards itself, where I mentioned that with these 3 tier 8 horses, I increased from 91k to 110k. So then you may ask, why is it that the maximum is more than what the cart can carry? Because there's a concept of topping up your food when you go back to your base. So there is also a concept of where you should put your base at which particular territory, so to speak. Okay, so because I don't have the figures off my head, basically this is what it looks like at level 1. So at level 1 here, the maximum amount of food you can trade in is 37k. So factor this in when you first prepare for your merchant tree. Make sure you have 37k food plus the 30k food required to create the first cart, as well as additional tier 8 horse standby ready to pull your level 1 cart. Now the amount of food that you can bring here, I believe that this should be based on the best tier around the period. So it wouldn't go far from there, seeing as each tier of the horse is only 1%. And 1% of 15k is not much, honestly speaking, compared to what we have like 91k. So take note of these figures. These are what you need in order to prepare yourself. Now, you can choose to enter the merchantry mode without any items, or you can choose to prepare some items first in this building here, where you can create the trading goods. But do note that not all goods can be used in world trade. Take for example this, they are definitely not inside. This is, all these are. This is not. So out of the items that you can trade, you can create, right? 6 of them are not tradable. Not tradable in the world trade itself. So these 3, the first 3 and the bottom 3. Well, they are not tradable at each of the cities. They are sometimes tradable with the special merchant. There is a special merchant that will pop up randomly in the continent while you are doing the merchantry, right? So you can choose whether or not you want to make a detour to them. They typically sell blackstones cheaper, so it may help you if you need them for enhancement. They usually allow you to sell these items at a much higher price. Typically, it's either at a 100% rate or a plus 100% rate or a plus 200% rate. Whereas for these blue items, typically when you are doing merchantry at all the different continents, you can only sell them, typically it's ranging from 16% to 24% profit. Yep. Okay, so that is in terms of preparing for world trade, merchantry. Because for us, right, my literal translation here would be world trade rather than merchantry. Okay, so you can definitely choose to create these items in advance, or simply just do one run throughout the merchantry, whatever your food can allow, because that will actually give you guys the start to fill up your cart. You can go by that approach, or you can create items first, create the trading goods first. My advice, if you have the resources to spare, go ahead. Otherwise, it's fine to just start the merchantry without anything inside here. That's fine. Okay, so that covers the cart, the food, the horse, and the trading goods. So the last factor here, which is the most important one, will be your workers. Okay, so note that my naming here is very very straightforward, because the rest of my workers are all in the default Chinese name. So it's very easy for me to see the moment I see English name 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are my workers in merchantry. So why do I say that? Because it's very crucial that you always keep the same 4 workers for your merchantry, because whatever level that they gain in terms of the stats required for the merchantry activities, those stay with the 4 workers that you send in. In other words, you should choose 4 of your best workers in terms of your highest level worker and highest grade, which is this yellow/golden grade. This is the one that you should bring in to the world trade. Why? Because the world trade, the merchantry system, the activities inside, especially the combat activities, right? This 3, 4, this golden tier plus high level factors in whether or not you are able to defeat the monsters in the combat activities. So if you bring in lower than golden tier and very low level workers in, there is a chance where you may not be able to win the combat. So that means that you can't get any reward from the combat activity. It just means that it dampens your start. It dampens the way you can gain the items and level in terms of the merchantry level. Because doing activities can help you gain the merchantry level. Although selling is the best in terms of gaining your merchantry level. The higher profit you get, the faster you level. Okay, so let's look at the workers themselves. You will notice that there are these stats here for the workers. Ignore the fishing was something that they said they wanted to add to world trade, but I think it got completely forgotten or deprioritized, such that fishing is still not an activity that's available in world trade. They even made an achievement for that, for a title for you to get, but and daily quest as well, but it's not doable. The content is just not there. So you look at the high level here that we have, high level stats that I have here. This is just wood chopping. I have 176 on one worker. Mining 176. Foraging / gathering 175. This is if I do a literal translation, it should mean something like explore or excavate or expedition. Either of these three words is possible. So the level of this, you will see that it's much lower, because this is actually the most rare activity throughout the merchantry activities. These three are more or less the same in terms of rarity, and obviously combat is the highest since mine is already maxed out. So what happens is that for every 200 levels of each of these activity added in total by your 4 workers, meaning every tier, right, is 50 levels, for example, for each worker, to add up to the 200, you get an additional reward whenever you finish the activity in merchantry. So what this means is that the tier is 200, 400, 600, 800 for a total of +4 bonus on top of the default one. So in other words, maximum you can get is 5. Okay, so I can't stress this enough. Make sure that you always get the same 4 workers in so that their level maintains. Previously, when I first started doing merchantry, I wasn't aware that it's something that follows the actual worker. So you see that I have a couple of workers here who have higher than level 1. These are the cases where I didn't know and I actually went to change my workers. Or after I did merchantry, right, I used the workers to go and do other stuff like foraging, etc. And when it came to the next day to do merchantry, I couldn't trace back who it was because I also didn't name them correctly. Those were during my beginner days. So these are the things to avoid. Make sure you name your 4 workers that is going to merchantry, so that even if you use them to go for do other activities like foraging, gathering, mining, whatever, or even crafting, you are able to trace back who are your merchantry characters, to then always be attached to your card. Always be attached to your card for going in. Of course, eventually, right, they actually added a system which I believe you guys will get at the moment you get your merchantry, where you can auto fill the slots here. Once you auto fill the slots here, they will always try to auto fill your workers with the highest level. So in future, this problem can be avoided. But nevertheless, make it a habit, or rather, it's a good practice to just rename them and ensure that you know that these are always your 4 that will go for merchantry. Okay, so to quickly summarize on the worker part, make sure that you send in the 4 workers with the highest level as well as the highest grade to go to your merchantry. and these 4 workers will be the ones that will always be doing your merchant tree. In fact, they will also be the ones who will level, be the first to level to 50 if they are not already 50 when you send them in. Because merchant tree gives a lot more SP than the usual foraging activities. You see this logo here means that they are already attached to the World Trade standing by. Whereas all these are very clear cut, they're just doing all these activities. Oh, and the other thing is that these stats here does not matter. The vitality, dexterity, all of this does not matter in terms of the merchant tree. All it matters is the level, the grade, and these stats here. Okay, so this should be fairly straightforward and it should help a lot in the preparation. Now, I will probably do a second guide with a very detailed look at if I use a tier 1 horse, how I should be doing the routes. The route is very important, and I'll try to put in other tips to help you guys in terms of like when you should doing there's quite a lot of tips that can be done for merchantry to help optimize your runs. So I'll do a separate video on that. So in the meantime, since I also have to do one merchantry, I will do my merchantry now, so you guys can see in the end game how fast merchantry is. Because when you guys first start, right, I have to admit that the level 1 horse and the level 1 sorry, not level horse, the 1 horse plus the level 1 or level 3 card, it's really slow, the overall progress. And I believe you guys may not even have the auto completion of quests, and you may not also have the potion or medicine that allows you to do the completion of the quest without actually loading it. So for me to better explain, let me just go in here. Okay. So I will do just a very brief explanation. I will probably do a more detailed one when I do the part 2 of this guide. But essentially, right, you see that there's this timer here. So this timer is important because it determines every 3 minutes the market rate changes. This is a 15-minute block. The entire thing is 15 minutes, 3 minutes each time, so there's 5 blocks. So this is the market change, the change in price. Then you can set up the routes that you want to go. I'm not sure whether you guys may or may not get these when you first get merchantry. If you don't have this, then it's just a matter of manually moving, which is fine too. Okay, so this is the merchant. Every shop you will have a merchant for this. This shows your food, your current food, and your total. The card, your current card, and the total. And you see all these green icons. These actually just refer to the buffs that we are getting from the level 5 card. When you first do the level 1 to level 3 card, you will not have this. Okay, so that's why your figure will be 99. So 99 for tier 1 to 3 card, or wagon, whatever it can be called. Then after that, the level 4 will give you 400, level 5 will give you 800 as per the figure you see here. So the very first town that you start in, you won't be able to sell anything or buy any of the special goods. Okay, that has 1,600, so I'm not buying that. This already have more than 1,600, so I'm not buying. This is the golden goods that every shop can have, so this I'll buy. Now, if you see here, right, there is this figure here, which essentially means the relationship or trust that you have with the merchant. So there's this figure of 30 here. This 30 figure is actually very important because this is the one that you get from this from the different NPCs, right? By establishing a good relationship with them. So you should always make sure that you get a good relationship with the vendors that are actually doing the merchantry. Just give them gifts. That's the fastest way. Oh, and I forgot to mention just now, for the workers, right? You can also give them gifts to speed up their leveling for those 4 that you want to bring into merchantry. Okay, so this here is a list of daily quests that can be done in merchantry. So the very basic one is of course to sell the golden one, buy the golden, sell the golden goods, to do 2 of each of the activities, be it combat, foraging, mining, exploration. Once you do finish this quest, it will unlock the one where you do 5, and the reward will be a golden chest that can, the golden merchantry chest. Okay, but typically for me, right, what I do is I always use this. Because when you sell goods, you also unlock the you also unlock the quest for getting 100k for selling 10 million. So this is very important when your silver is not that high. Okay, so I have already bought up to more than 98%. So if you see here, actually I've been storing up my merchantry chest. I have a 924 here. So I will open at the end of this run for you guys' entertainment. Okay, so now let me go through this portion here. Okay, so the routes, right? The 1 and 2 routes is actually set up here. You can choose all the routes that you want. Select the configuration and then save. This is save. This is reset. In this map itself, right, it also gives you a preview of how much food it takes to travel to a specific continent, or sorry, specific town or city, as well as the price that they are buying or selling these items. Selling these items. These are the items that I have, and this is the price that they are buying from you. Okay. So on top of that, you see this icon here, right? This means that my territory is in this map. Mine is here because we have Media here, Media North and Media South. But when you guys first get the merchantry content, it's very unlikely that you will get these 2, the Media North and South. Likely it's only this area, because anyway you don't have enough food to make such a long distance travel as well. So you'll be only getting this area here. Now if I look further in, right, it will show you each of the town in this particular map, and what's the amount of food required. So I'm actually right here, so that's why the food required is 0. I'm in this town. Now there are multiple towns per map, but I can immediately tell you guys that you can immediately drop this point here. There is only 1 town in this map, and it is basically a dead end where you go from you enter from here, you go down southwards all the way 1 dead end in to that town just now in this map, and then you go all the way back again. It's it's a complete waste of your food basically. So I'm not going to go more into that. I will go more when I do the actual guide with 1 horse with a low level cut, just to show you guys how it's like. Okay, this just shows you the transactions you have done so far. Typically I don't ever click this button. This is very important here, because clicking on this allows you to check the prices that you can sell at each of the town. So it makes a difference when, say for example, you happen to be in a town where for example, I'm at this town. Typically in my runs, right, I will be going to this town before this town, and yet this town, the one that is before, actually sells more. So that it will be a scenario where maybe I should consider selling this, for example. Okay. I'm going to start my run. For the sake of you guys, right, I'll just turn the auto off so you can appreciate what I was talking about in terms of the okay, I can't eat the medicine as well. I can't take the medicine as well. So you see here, this is your number of worker, this is the number of enemies. Well, mine is already high level. So this, do you see just now? At level 800, what I get is 5 chests. Yep. At your start, right, you will only get the first one just now. Okay, this is a different one, wood chopping. So this is how it looks like. You're just here, gathered here to do the chopping. So you can see mine is only level 100 for wood chopping, because when you look at my worker stats just now, they're all 170 plus. So it's still locked here. Okay, so this is a different one. This is actually a boss. It's a single monster. It's a boss that you are fighting. Yeah, your workers fight. And this is good because the boss always gives a different kind of chest after defeating him. See? 5 of those chests is very good because those chests have a chance of giving you the orange merchantry chest. Okay, I'm reaching the next town. Oh, so this is really good. There's boss stamps that he's selling, although it's expensive. 44k of the resource when I only have 391 now, but I will still buy it because it's boss stamp. So yes, I was talking about the trust just now and I forgot to continue further. So always remember to get 30 from the relationship with the vendor. Then other than that, you get increment of these, right? As you do more merchantry and more trades with the vendor. For each of these blue items that you buy from the merchant, it increases your relationship / trust with them. What does this give you? The most important item, black pearl. But you will need 200, which is the maximum amount of trust. Then there's boss stamp. Then at the lower level there is ancient ruin tablet, additional scrolls for Tower of Trials. This is the medicine for medicine or potion for giving you, or maybe elixir, to let you basically burst through all the activities. You have bloodstones here, you have fragments, gems, more bloodstones, and then resources. Resources are the ones where you don't need any trust, and the all the way up to here. So the first tier of unlocking is 120. So you're gonna have to do quite a bit of merchantry before you can unlock any of the so-called good items. But it's fine because merchantry is actually the best way for you to increase your resources. Because the buy and sell of resources, if you see here, you spend 2,000 to buy 3,000, so it's good, the exchange rate. Okay, so let me just buy this. Now, the next thing you can do, right, if you have the path set up, all you need to do is, wait, hang on, let me just grab the crests. All you need to do is just click this. You will automatically exit the town and move on to the destination. Okay, but first off, I want to turn on my auto. Okay, it's already turned on. No, I don't want to go to town. I am willing to take this medicine. Just click here. You click this button and it brings you to a bird's eye view. Okay, so I am not going to talk much more. I'll just be finishing the run itself. There's a lot more tips that I can talk about in terms of what you can do in the actual merchantry itself. So I'll cover that in the next guide. While I do the one horse, because anyway I need to do one horse and one cart. I might as well leave that to the guide where I'm doing that particular guide. Yeah. Why am I not buying this? Because I'm not going. It's only one town. Okay lah, I think we can buy this. It's fine. Although it's only one town, but it's the next town that I'm going in. So okay, that's the special merchant that I was talking about. This way too far. Okay, so that completes my typical daily run. Today is quite unlucky. We only earn about 240 million in profit. This is the buying and selling. So okay, these are the goods that we get for a run every day. As you can see, I have a lot of chests. So I'm gonna do opening of the merchantry chest now, so that you guys can appreciate why it's worthwhile to do merchantry. Other than the fact that I've already shown the black pearl that you can purchase from merchantry. Okay, so let's go to town. First off, we should open these because this has a chance to give you a merchantry chest. This is the one that you get from killing the bosses in merchantry. Okay, so other than that, there is the portion on the. These are the normal chests that you get from all the combat mode, other than the boss mode. Okay, yeah, so it looks about right. So you can see they give you black spirit energy items, the fragments, silver, black stones. Okay, don't even have enough space. This is from, I think, 3 or 4 days of merchantry in total. Okay, so the way to open chests is to go to the merchantry vendor in any of the town or city and open them. So here we have 1,100 chests. I'm gonna do the opening now. Music is a bit loud. Right. Okay, and actually I need to talk about these items, but hang on, let me just go through what we just got. Okay, see, there's a lot of black spirit items. So merchantry is actually a good way for you to buff your black spirit as well. I mean, obviously not for me because my best rate is very high, but for you guys, right, when you first get merchantry, it will be quite significant. Okay, let's open the good stuff. The orange merchantry chest. So you see here, boss stamp, ancient ruin tablet, relic fragment, lightstone fragment, chance to get other cash shot items, Tower of Trials entry ticket, Blessed Spirit energy to feed the Blessed Spirit for leveling, Force enhancement stones, black pearls. I'm quite unlucky this time around. There should be more black pearls than this. Okay, so let's see the rewards from opening all these merchantry chests. There's these gems as well, but some of it is from actually from Path of Glory. Just haven't opened them yet. There's skill boots as well. Okay, so the main items will be these. And actually, the skill boosts are from the merchantry. Okay. It's actually fairly decent. You get a few K of boss stamps as well as ancient ruin tablets. And you see quite a lot of mystical food for the Black Spirit. Mystical should add a lot for you guys at your current Black Spirit level. Okay, so I'm gonna touch on one last item before I end the guide here on merchantry, at least the first guide. So there was one item, one small little part that I missed. For the creation of the trading goods, right, you can actually create special trading goods here. If you look here, you can create based on mystical gems, and you can sell them for quite a bit of profit in the to the special merchant in merchantry. So the rates of typically range from 55% to 90% profit. But personally, I usually craft the triple one, the one that sells more. But my advice is not to use the mystical lightstone. This one requires lightstone, this one requires crystal. Use the mystical crystal when you really want to get your merchantry level up. But since you guys are still at the stage where mystical crystals are your best crystals, obviously you wouldn't put it in to sell unless you're that desperate to pump up your merchantry level. My advice is not to do that. You should only do this when it's not that common. Maybe like when abyssal crystals are fairly common, then that's the time to start selling all this. But if you're a cash rich player, you don't mind spending a lot on the game, then obviously this is a good option for you. Okay, I'm just gonna create all those that I have. After creating them, you must remember to load them into your cart though. before you enter merchant tree. Okay. So if you see here is this one. This is the one that you can sell for a very decent amount in merchant tree. It also mentions here to sell in merchant tree. So there is a requirement. You need command center level 6, Black Spirit level 130 and above before you can actually craft this item. So I'm really not sure when you guys will get this particular item. My guess is that you will likely not get it when you first get merchant tree. Yep. But this is actually the most important way and the easiest way for you to pump your merchant tree level to 100, because it's really not easy to do the 100. You at level 90 plus, maybe 1 days of run only grants you a few percent. Yep. Okay, so that ends my first merchant tree guide, which is essentially the introduction, preparation, showing off the endgame run, as well as opening 1000 plus merchant tree chest, so that you guys get a gist of how good merchant tree is. It's the best mode for getting in-game items and black pearl and silver, especially for F2P players. If you're not buying anything from the cash shop, for cash shop players, it's still an important boost. Okay, so thanks everyone for watching. Bye. See you next video.